Hello everybody, I'm Samson from Ross IELTS Academy, joining you here today to analyse a band score of 6.5 for the mock test of speaking in IELTS. This was conducted by Ross IELTS Academy itself. Now we're going to zoom in on why the candidate got that band score and what she could have done to boost it over 7. Now, have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Or you just go ahead and do that, because we've got a lot of useful videos coming your way. Now, let's have a look at part 1 of what this candidate did in her mock test.
Okay, from here we'll start the speaking test. This is the speaking test of the International English Language Testing System taking place on Thursday the 6th of August. Centre number DDE 120 and the candidate is Sabo Mazinani. The candidate number is 014132778. The examiner is Samson Sees, examiner number 443533. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Samson. Would you please tell me your full name?
My name is Sabo Mazinani.
Okay, in the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. Let's talk about shopping. Do you enjoy shopping?
I love shopping as a woman, and most of the time I prefer to spend my free time shopping centers, of course.
Okay, and how often do you go shopping and what do you buy?
Most of the time at weekends with my friends, and I prefer buy clothes, especially shoes and cosmetics.
So, do you prefer to go shopping
Alone or with other people, and why?
It depends. I'm a person who buy all the things easily, but if I don't know, my friends are really picky and streaky, okay, I prefer do it alone by myself.
Okay, I'd like to move on and ask you some questions about food. What is your favorite food and why?
My favorite food is kebab and Iranian food, and because I love barbecue, it's really enjoyable for me.
And what kind of restaurants do you like to eat out at?
I usually go to traditional restaurants with my family and my friends, and we order kebab there. And there are specific restaurants that most of the time we frequent.
Okay, and what would your perfect meal be?
Sultani. The portion is it's a large portion of kebab with a lot of, I don't know, salad, olive, onion, and it's really enjoyable for me.
Okay, I'd like to talk now about your hobbies. Tell me about any hobbies you have.
I'm a movie buffer, and at weekends I prefer to watch movies, especially French series and French movies, and then I follow American series.
Right. Are there any hobbies you would like to have in the future?
I really like to organize a program for going to hiking and going to mountain in the future, I hope.
Okay. Do you think hobbies should be relaxing or should they be exciting, and why?
According to my personality, I love the activities, exciting activities that are full of adventure and excitement. That's why I follow traveling. I travel with my friends, especially to new places.
Explain one of these travels for me.
I remember last summer, my friend and I, we went to Filband and we did bungee jumping there. It was amazing and I will never forget that day.
Okay, well that is the end of part 1.
So, how was it? What did you think of her performance? So that was part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. Now, I was asking her some short questions and she was responding with short answers, which she could have extended to improve her band score, especially with the criteria of vocabulary and grammatical range. Now, let's have a look at those criteria and add up her band score. So we're looking at a fluency of 7, vocabulary 6, grammar 6, pronunciation 7, so the overall band score comes to 6.5. Okay, now we're going to do something very interesting. We're going to boost Sabor's band score to 7. How are we going to do that? Well, all she needs to do is improve her grammar and bring that up to a 7, and also her vocabulary. So if she worked on these two, she would have got 7 in those two criteria, therefore a band score of 7. So let's have a look at Sabor's fluency and coherence. So she got a 7 in that because she was pretty coherent, speaking fairly naturally and keeping her flow of speech. She did have a few hesitations here and there, but that was content-related hesitation as opposed to language-related hesitation. Now, what are the difference between these two? Well, language-related hesitation means that you're struggling to find words and put sentences together. It's related to the language hesitations. Content-related hesitations is not so bad. You will not get marked down for content-related hesitations. It just means that you pause for a little bit and maybe struggle to look for an idea. Now, most importantly, Sabor did use a range of connectives and discourse markers, which was very good for her fluency and coherence. But there could have been a little bit more of that. See, she kept repeating the words "and," "so," "because," although she did say "that's why" once, which is a very effective connective to use. So only if she extended that and used a bit more of those connectives, she could have even boosted her fluency and coherence to an 8. Right, let's check out her lexical resource. That's vocabulary, which she got a 6 in, and she could easily boost that to a 7. So she was using some collocations and related words when she was talking about food, shopping, and hobbies. Let's have a look. She was saying things like free time, shopping centre, picky, and streaky friends, traditional restaurants, a large portion, and follow series. However, some of those related words were inappropriate. Now, instead of saying, "I really like to organize a program to go hiking," she could say, "I really like to plan for a hike to go hiking." Now, the problem here is that she didn't use much idiomatic vocabulary or collocations. So what I'm going to do now is paraphrase some of her exact same answers so she could get a 7 in vocabulary. Let's have a look. So here's the question. What kinds of restaurants do you like to eat out at? And her answer, "I usually like to go to traditional restaurants with my family and my friends, and we order kebab there. And there are specific restaurants that most of the time we frequent." Now here's my answer. "I usually like to eat out at traditional restaurants with my family and friends where we can order kebab." I can say there is a number of specific restaurants that we frequently eat out at. The reason I choose such restaurants is because I have a healthy appetite and I can find a variety of nourishing meals there. Here's another question. Are there any hobbies you would like to have in future? Her answer was, "I really like to organize a program for going to hiking and going to mountain in the future, I hope." And here's my answer. "I really like to plan for a hike and go to the mountains in the future, for which I will need to cut back on my hours. I believe a little change of scenery would give me a much better feeling since I am fed up with my work. For that reason, I would choose hiking as a future hobby." Right, so if we're talking about her grammar, she got 6 in that. She was using a mixture of simple and complex structures with her grammar, and she was actually struggling more with the complex ones. Now, Here's what she did, for example. She said, I am a person who buy all the things easily. What she should have said was, I am a person who buys everything easily. She said this, which was incorrect. There are specific restaurants that most of the time frequent. And what she should have said here was, there are specific restaurants that we frequently go to. Unfortunately, she also had some other grammatical errors, like singular, plural, verb to infinitive. Let's have a look at those. So she said, I prefer to spend my free time shopping centres. Here's what she should have said. I prefer to spend my free time in shopping centres. And these errors just continue. I prefer buy clothes. It should have been I prefer to buy clothes. Here's another one. If my friends are picky, I prefer do it alone. She should have said this. If my friends are picky, I prefer to do it alone. It continues. Here we go. I go to traditional restaurant. She should have said, I go to traditional restaurants. One more mistake here. She said, my friend and I, we went to field band. Here's what she should have said. My friend and I went to field band. So only if she used more conditional sentences, more subordinate clauses, conjunctions, and connectives, she could have got a 7 in her grammatical range and accuracy. So Saba got a 7 in her pronunciation because she used a range of pronunciation features. So she was clear to understand, and she was able to link up some words to create better fluency. She also sounded fairly conversational and her intonation was okay. But she did have one error with the word adventure. So she stressed the syllable at the beginning. She said adventure instead of adventure. So the stress has to come on the second syllable. That's it. So everybody, as you see, this candidate could have easily boosted her band score to 7 or over if she used more collocations and elaborated more on her answers and not making so many mistakes in the grammar section. Now, if you want to see the whole mock test of what this candidate did, just look on the previous video and it's all there. Now, if you're interested in our packages, just go onto our website. That's www.rossielts.com. There you can see the awesome bronze, silver, and VIP packages. I'm sure you'll find very useful. So if you want to see what that candidate did in part 2, because this was all about part 1, definitely watch the next video. I'll see you next time.